Dandavats, dear guests and devotees. We are waiting for Maharaj to join us. He is already here. We're starting. Dandavat Pranam, dear Avadhut Maharaj.
Hi. Anybody home?
Yes.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we hear
you. Okay, good. I want to send my Dandavats Pranam to all the devotees and all the small one. Okay. So I want to say hello to all the devotees. I'm with devotees here in Chiang Mai, Thailand. Tomorrow morning, I'm flying to India, and we'll start the Holy Parikrama and celebration for Purnima. So today we had a really amazing meeting with devotees, and I share with them my presence in Bali, because Bali was extremely beautiful journey and meeting with some spiritual friends and devotees, and it was incredible to see a whole Vedic culture in the island. Of course, that Vedic culture, very old school, old style, and still it's giving so much pleasure for devotees to understand there was such a kingdoms in previous time, like Bali, where people would completely live in harmony with nature, and every house in Bali is like a temple, it's like a palace, very, very beautifully built with beautiful deities and beautiful little shrines, and people are very kind. They still keep doing this spiritual culture by worshiping every day, although they may not really understand what they do, because they consider it to be as rituals. But even on the ritualistic part of things, they're more pious and more auspicious. And so what gives us that where we will follow unconsciously some good paths, but what is the way if we follow consciously? So here in Krishna consciousness, we're trying to consciously follow spiritual ideas and go to the path of transformation. So what does it really mean for us? It means that we're trying to adopt different vision first, based on different ways of a belief system that we're accepting. So we've been taught in a school and a society where we live one particular paradigm, which is pretty limited to me, I, physical body, national, gender, etc. And we're trying to adopt the principle that we're eternal servitors of Krishna. We are spiritual beings that meant for some higher purpose. And in the very beginning, it's difficult for us to perceive that, because we're still part of material reality where we have to survive, we have to act, and everything here will tell us that, well, the material world is more real, the spiritual world is less substantial. But actually, the truth is, the spiritual reality is like the ocean of consciousness, and the material reality is like a ice or iceberg, like Guru Maharaj said, in the ocean of consciousness. In other words, we become almost like a frozen in this very little part of consciousness, because one iceberg cannot represent the whole ocean. Also, iceberg, it's the hard substance where the water is soft substance. So we can believe that, hard substance, that's what reality is. But once we analyze that ice is water, but in another form, in another conditions. So which tell us the matter, it's a particular energy of Supreme Lord, and it has another conditions. And what really separates us from Supreme Lord and his devotees is our way of thinking, our way of adapting this reality and understanding this reality. And as Guru Maharaj would clearly explain, world of exploitation, where we're playing exploit rather serve. So the idea of service, it may not appeal to us in the very beginning, but as we are connecting with other devotees that have beautiful energy of service, love, and affection, we are realizing that service is the intrinsic principle of existence. Even when somebody serves family, or somebody serves children, or wife, or country, or doing service of his work, service is something we are making progress by serving. And even if we don't agree with everything else, still our real true definition is service. So I'd like to say that this specific understanding of the greatness of service is so wonderful that can change radically all our existence. And of course, we need an environment, but the Guru Maharaj said, illusory environment, which is Maya-controlled material environment. Still, it has its own laws, its own principles. So when we're looking at spiritual environment, we can understand spiritual environment in material world also has its own principles, its own reality, but it's very much combined with material plane. Like we can go to the temple and see the physical structure. We can see the deities. They look like a statue. We can hear the kirtan. It can look like music, or we see devotees. They look like mundane people who have their own imperfections. But as Krishna saying in Bhagavad Gita, if you realize that myself, sacrifice, temple, and my devotees all belong to my spiritual nature, you will get great benefit. So our life is about defining and understanding what is divine, what is not. Actually, everything is divine from one perspective. But from another perspective, there are some things more divine than other ones. Like, for instance, you can say every living being is part and parcel of God. From another perspective, you can say, but the devotees are very special because they remember and they try to maintain that relationship with Krishna. And by doing that, they're doing the best for the world they live in, because this world is not lacking resources, water, sun, energy. What it's lacking for is divine love, and it's lacking for the memory and connectivity. And if everybody would accept Krishna consciousness, there would not be war, there would not be poverty, because everybody would realize, I'm just a servant. Of course, somebody can say, well, that's a very utopic idea, because our material world is meant as material prison. There will be never a chance where all the living beings become devotees. However, Mahaprabhu, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to this world, he said very clearly, I would like to liberate every living being in this universe, especially coming to Kali Yuga time. So when Supreme Lord coming to Kali Yuga, he understands that living entities don't have power, energy on their own to liberate themselves. So in one book called Religion of Imperfection, it says that one will realize his spiritual progress, that he are not perfect and he's calling for higher help. See a lot of cases in this material world. They teach us to rely on our own experience, in our skills, in our own knowledge. But in spiritual life, it's not enough. And so someone who's looking for a spiritual connection, he should realize that spirit, although it's part of our intrinsic soul, but it will reveal by itself, by its own will, not by any of my physical material endeavors. I cannot really, amaze God with my material skills, or I cannot amaze God with my knowledge, but I can attract God, attract Krishna by humility and by inquiry and by service of his devotees. That's why devotional service is considered to be the highest form of yoga, because yoga means connection. So you cannot really connect with the infinite by your finite senses. But what you can do is you can combine the infinite with your spiritual nature, your spiritual sense of your soul, and allow your heart that Krishna will descend according to his own sweet will. So that is called Krishna consciousness. And sometimes we can say, well, I remember the days where I was very enthusiastic. Everything I do, I chant, I feel amazing, but now I felt that feeling. Well, the reality is you've got special mercy. So you can only understand Supreme Lord by mercy, not by any of your own means, but how to get the mercy. The answer is given by the people. You have to adopt a particular mood. You have to adopt inquiry, respect, and desire to serve. And in that mood, you should approach spiritual master, or you should approach devotees of Krishna, or you should approach scriptures, holy scriptures. And then in your mood, you will receive the mercy, because the universe always inquire for you once you have proper understanding. It was interesting. On Bali, I thought, well, I know there's beautiful rudraksh growing on Java, but I'm on Bali, it's a different island, but it's a Hindu island. If I can bring some gifts for devotees, some rare rudraksh, it would be nice. And I was thinking about that and before Shivaratri. And, we had a really nice Shivaratri kirtan. And after Shivaratri, by going to the monkey forest, one place, I was walking on the street and accidentally I met one man. He fully put rakshas, and I told him, Om Namo Shivaya. And he said, oh, Om Namo Shivaya. So I started speaking to him, and he's a devotee of Shiva. And he told me, oh, I have a shop here. I said, do you sell rudraksha? He told me, which one you want? And I said, I want one mukhi. He said, it's very rare to get, but I will try to get it for you. So we exchanged his phones. And next day I came in and he brought me the rudraksha. And then I preached to him for almost like an hour. I showed him about yoga, pranayama, Krishna consciousness, Maha mantra. And I understood. By grace of Lord Shiva, I met devotee of Lord Shiva. And by grace of Lord Shiva, I preached to devotee of Lord Shiva. And by grace of Lord Shiva, I received this rare things that I was looking for. And that was amazing, because I understood immediately when I have some proper mindset, universe immediately replied to me. Maybe some my other material desires or my ego-centered desires are not fulfilled quick, they're not replied. It's because really they're not maybe will provide a favor for me. But as soon as I have, some spiritual desire and it's acceptable by my own benefit, the benefit of others, I had a chance to preach to this devotee. We become friends. He's a healer. He's a massage guy. He worships Lord Shiva, and he likes to know about Krishna and Bhagavad Gita. So now I will gradually cultivate him and send him Bhagavad Gita, send him some other good books. So in time, we'll have a great Balinese devotee. And has been listening to Purana lately, Shiva say, I am devotee of Krishna myself. And any devotee of Krishna is very dear to me. So we can feel that exchange between our heart, between things that we need, between everything, very, very important. So anybody has any questions?
Yes, Maharaj, we have already 3 questions in the chat box. First is from Tulasi from Ukraine. She is asking, how much and what exactly should we give to the mission? Sometimes we see people taking advantage of a position or organization or misusing resources for their own purpose. rather than for service. Please comment and give advice on how to be not to be disappointed and where to direct our efforts.
Well, here's I would say, whatever you give to Krishna or devotees never will get wasted. Maybe devotee will waste something or misuse something, but Krishna knows you're giving with pure heart and pure extension, so it will not be wasted. So don't think that, hey, I don't want to give anything to temple or devotee. Maybe they buy something wrong. Yeah, that can be. People always abusing hospitality. They're always abusing things, but that's not the way one should look for it. Okay? Equal. Молоко еще. Пустая чашка еще и молоко. So don't think like this, because now you're trying to control. You're trying to become a controller. You don't worry. You give your service, and Krishna will decide, and Guru will decide. One time, Srila Prabhupada came, a man who maybe got some money. I don't know, maybe not 100% legal way, and he gave to Prabhupada big briefcase of cash. Because when people do something illegal, they feel they want to purify themselves. Because like everybody knows, if you do something wrong, somehow, they need to basically purify themselves. That's why rich people, they all give charity. Rich people know I'm exploiting others, but if I give charity, it will give me good karma. So that man gave to Srila Prabhupada a quite big amount of cash. And in this amount of cash, people, he was very proud that Prabhupada accepted that money. And he started telling the Prabhupada, he said, oh, I think you should spend that money, maybe a couple $100,000, big donation. I think you should spend that money for school, or you should spend this money for this, that. And you know what Prabhupada told him? Prabhupada looked at him, and Prabhupada knew this guy is not a clean person. That's why Prabhupada said, your business is to give, and my business is to spend properly. Basically, Prabhupada said, yes, you give me your dirty money, to launder yourself, to purify yourself, that is good. So you made a good choice, because you could give somewhere else. But it is my energy, my meaning, how to use this money properly. So Srila Prabhupada was very clear, because he said, I'm not going to control by some low person. Only that low person believes by giving money, he get benefit, which is true, but he's not to decide how to use for Krishna and service. So that story tells really that if somebody gives something, that is not up to him, it's up to Krishna. But of course, if he's giving to Guru, like for instance, people want to send money to me directly, I'm always tell, please help Ukraine, or please help this temple, that temple. And somebody say, well, they may not spend money properly, but I know 90% they will spend money properly. Maybe 10% they make some mistake, they buy something wrong. But so it is my responsibility to direct that, not responsibility of somebody who's giving. However, somebody can give for a specific project, donate for a specific project, or engage in service for a specific project. You can say, okay, I'm not willing to give money, but I'm willing to buy food, for the deity, or flowers for the deity, or dress for the deity. That's also fine. If you don't trust devotees, that's okay. You can do your service by doing something as you think desirable. But remember, one way or another way, our aim is to Krishna Anushlanam, to satisfy the Krishna. So when you're giving to Guru with sincere heart, that is very kind and very good offering. So, next question.
Next question is from Ananta Shesh Prabhu. He's giving his obeisances to you, Maharaj, and asking why our faith is so unstable and changeable. We believe in something spiritual, but in the next moment we believe in something material. How to keep our faith on spiritual?
Well, it's a very good question. Ananta Shesh asking a very good question. First of all, remember, it's association. Like when Ananta Shesh came to Vrindavan and we had his association, it was very inspiring for us, it was very inspiring for him. And yes, in the material world, we are part of material nature. It's just like you're coming to prison, you pretty much think, well, I need to follow the prison law here, even if you're a free person. But if you're a prisoner and you've been told about outside the prison world, you may not have full experience of it. It's hard to believe because you believe in something that you can experience with your own senses. However, what we're trying to cultivate is faith. So faith or belief, it's not something come from our own experience. That's why you cannot really prove there's God or there's no God, but you can have faith, experience, which tells you, yes, God exists. So that experience normally comes through association and practice. That's why in mystic yoga, it says, speaking about mystic yoga and practice, mystic yoga, two different things. But in bhakti yoga, such ideal is that where you talk and associate with devotees, and you hear about Krishna, you're chanting holy name to get a kirtan, you take prasadam, that's called spiritual practice. So in mystic yoga, it doesn't count. But bhakti yoga is so advanced that just by hearing about Krishna and associating devotee, your faith is growing. So my suggestion to Ananta Shesh, you try to hear more about Krishna every day, and you try to do it in mood of service and dedication, and then gradually your faith will increase and become stable. And once your faith is stable, Rupa Goswami said, Ato Shradha, Tato Sarusanga Bhajan Priya. So there are different stages of faith. So first you have belief, but not enough. But through Sadhusanga, you have more higher belief. When you have association of devotee, then through association of devotee, you pick his mood of energy, his mood of service. And that will become your mood of service. And once you have mood of service, then you're stable on mood of service. You have stable faith. The faith is going deeper, and then you can experience taste of spiritual life, and on the final stage, you can experience Bhava Bhakti. But don't think you can escape this from down to up without going through all the stages. You may go through stages very quick. By your fortune, maybe you practice in previous lives, but you pretty much can't avoid become faithful devotee and adopt mood of service, adopt proper mindset and proper heart set. So mindset is intellectual. The heart set is that you intuitively understand, yes, I have to serve, I'm a servitor. And mindset tells you, well, you need to try to continue to serve. So both with the mindset and heart set, you continue spiritual life. All right, next question.
Next question is from Subal, from Govinda Land. He's asking why Baladeva and Subhadra has the same type of eyes as Lord Jagannath, due to Lord Jagannath has them according the feeling of Krishna who is coming back to Vrindavan. How it's related?
Well, because Balarama and Subhadra, remember, Lord is sharing his ecstasy. It's like when you are near a volcano, you will feel volcano. That's what Guru Maharaj explained. So remember, Balaram is the second self of Krishna. So he also feels separation from Vrindavan. And Subhadra, she's a sister, so she is very dear to Krishna, and she's a great devotee. So Krishna allowed Balaram and Subhadra to feel ecstatic feelings. That's why Krishna is Lila Purushottam. He can share with you his heart. That's very good. If Jagannath would be alone, then idea would be only Jagannath can understand, only Krishna can understand. But considering the Balaram and Subhadra means his second expansion. Remember, Balaram is Seva Abhiman. He's Krishna who exists in a mode of service. This is very important to know. So as a Seva Abhiman, he's doing incredible service by supporting Lord Jagannath, Lord Krishna. And Subhadra is a great devotee and relative of Krishna. She's very young, very beautiful, but she is as a energy of devotional service. That's why Krishna is not alone. Krishna says, Janma Karma Shmediyam. So normally Krishna is Radharani. But in Jagannath form, he relished Radharani love in his heart. So Radharani is his heart. But his brother Balaram, who's the source of everything, he's in the same altar. It's great devotee Subhadra is also on altar. So when they receive prasadam, after that prasadam comes to Bimala Devi, the goddess Durga, and only after Bimala Devi tests this prasadam, it's become Mahaprasadam. Why? Because something been given to devotee in his entourage, relished by devotees, become more sweet. That's why Krishna wants to experience higher sweetness by engaging his devotees in pastimes of Krishna consciousness.
Silence.
So I don't want to keep you long. I want to complete here a few minutes and maybe we'll finish this transaction because today I'm leaving tomorrow to India and there are many things for me to do here with devotees. I just want to say that, first of all, I highly appreciate you coming online, my English speaking class. Like this morning, we spoke with devotees how important for us to learn English and learn how to express ourselves in English, especially about spiritual things, because it's numerous opportunity of preaching. Second of all, you asked very good questions about how to be proper giver and receiver. It's about our pure intention. Don't try to scrutinize the intention of others. Of course, you should not be ignorant, but you should also be doing with a pure heart yourself. That's more important. Second of all, remember, you can get the question that Anantashesh asked, you can get deeper understanding by association of service of devotees. And being more with devotees and associate with devotees will make you more stable mindset and consciousness. And third of all, remember, even Lord himself, he wants to share his joy, devotion, and love with his devotees, with his expansions, such as Balarama, his devotees, such as Subhadra. So, which give us great hope, because Lord is not, although he's a single enjoyer and proprietor, but he accepts the idea that he will enjoy devotion with devotees. So devotees are enjoyable by Lord, the source of his happiness. Therefore, it's very important for us to go to Bhakti Yoga and Yoga of Devotion. So I want to thank you all. I think we did 30 minutes today is good because fortunately I can't go for a long program. We had today a few hours meeting, then I'm meeting another devotees. They're here, they're hearing us, they're sending their dandavats. And I want to thank everyone who organized this program, Narayan Didi, Karshan Prabhu, and all our participants, especially Nadia Didi. She's trying always with her full heart to give people an opportunity to associate with our Vaishnavas from our community, especially senior Vaishnavas like Avadhut Maharaj, Devashish Prabhu and others. So at this moment, I will ask you permission to end up this little short meeting. with mood of participation, appreciation of Krishna consciousness. You inspired me. I will go to India. From India, we'll have more and more Russian English speaking Zooms from holy places of Vrindavan. And soon, Gaura Purnima, the most important festival of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birth. So please try to celebrate that wonderful festival in association of devotees. And if you are not in association of devotees directly, do indirectly connection with our centers, and that will be greatly beneficial for you. So my Dandavat Pranam. I love you all. Hare Krishna. And with your permission, I'm trying to end up this meeting. Hare Krishna.